Alright, so for this assignment, you are asked to make a pair of earrings that demonstrates contrast in some way and is riveted. That is all that is needed. You are welcome to make them your own as much as possible. This is the sheet for it. It has all kinds of examples on it of ideas. Basically, what you need to do is you need to take either two pieces of metal to demonstrate a contrast of material or color, play around with texture to demonstrate a contrast of texture, use contrast of shape, of form, anything in order to make a pair of earrings that are symmetric. So either they're identical, they're reversed, or if they're asymmetric, they have to be well balanced. Okay, so this is one earring that I just made, and I'm going to show you how to make the other one, if pretending this was your project. So the first thing I did is I went into the scrap box and I tried to find some kind of scrap that I thought was interesting, or maybe there was texture that I already wanted to use, or maybe I just wanted a plain piece so that I could texture it myself. So what I did is first I textured this piece of copper. I cut it out into a circle and then cut it in half so that it would have two half moons, and then I hammered it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rivet this little nickel silver triangle on top of it, like that. I don't know if you can see. So that I have a contrast both of material and color as well as a contrast of texture, because the circle is textured and the triangle is not. So what I would do before I decided on my design, I just kind of took a bunch of pieces and I played around with how they would look layered on top of each other. Maybe you want to cut out some shapes. Maybe you want to make some sketches. Maybe sketching helps you plan out your ideas. Sometimes it's nice to just let the material figure it out. Maybe you find some kind of shape like this in the box and it gives you an idea and you want to use it, okay, for like some arrow earrings. That could be interesting. But I'm set on my idea, so now what I have to do is I need to rivet it. The way that you rivet is first line up your shapes, and you are going to drill a hole through both pieces of metal so that the rivet can have a place to go through. If you remember, the first thing you do when you are drilling is you have to make a little punch somewhere. I'm going to put my punch up towards the top so that I can hang my earring wire from it later. But that punch is going to help your drill bit not skate across the surface of the metal. So I think I want it to be right there. I'm also going to make sure that it's low enough that it doesn't go too close to the edge so that when I go to drill a hole, it doesn't cut through the top. One hit. Doesn't need to go all the way through. I'll be right back. I'm going to go drill this. Now when you go to drill your pieces, make sure that you hold both with a pair of pliers really tightly so that they don't move at all, because you want to make sure that the hole lines up, because wherever the hole is where the rivet's going to go. So you want to make sure that it fits with your design. Also, you want to make sure that your piece is flat. If it's not flat, you can take it on a bench block with a rawhide hammer, hammer it down. Also, I noticed I got some burrs when I drilled through, so I want to just take a moment with a file to make sure I smooth those out. Otherwise, they'll get in my way. Okay, so now I have my two pieces that each have a hole through them. Okay, and now I'm going to make a rivet for those pieces. The way you make rivet is you take a piece of this copper tubing, it's hollow in the middle, and you are going to put it in this right here, which is called a tube cutter jig. What the tube cutter jig does is it allows you to rest the tube right here on top. Notice how I'm holding it in my right hand. Okay. I am then going to slide it down until just about an eighth, a little over an eighth of an inch is sticking out the right side. Then I'm going to fold this over, and I will be holding this down. Okay, now I'm switching over to my left hand. Notice my thumb is down, keeping it in place, and there's just a little bit of the tube sticking out on this side. You want this to be about a 1/16 of an inch on either side of your metal, so total about a little over 1/8 of an inch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my handy dandy jeweler saw, and I'm going to press the saw blade up against the side of this on the outside. Ignore this little hole in here. All right, just press it up against the side right here. We'll be fine. And you're going to saw back and forth until you cut out a little tube that looks like this. I already have one. Okay, it's going to look like that. Just a little baby. Can you see? Okay. Now this, you need to make sure that A, you don't lose it because they'll drop and lose easily. B, they have to be flat on both sides. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is line up my pieces that I want to rivet together. Notice how I'm lining them up on top of a bench block, which is on top of a piece of wood. There we go. And I'm going to painstakingly try to fit this little tube into the holes. I know it's kind of frustrating sometimes, but it needs to be a perfectly tight fit or else the rivet won't hold. See, and even I'm having a hard time with it. If you really can't get it in, then you might have to take a small round file and file your hole open a little bit more so that it'll fit, but that's okay. I think I'm about there. No. Frustrating, isn't it? Don't give up. Stick with it because once you get it, you'll be fine. All right, I got it. There it is. I stuck with it. I didn't give up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hammer, which is called a riveting hammer. It has a flat side that's square, and then it has a angled side on this side. I'm going to take the flat side, and I'm going to tap really lightly, okay? Riveting isn't a thing where you're smashing down hard like you did when you were texturing metal. You have to finesse it. You have to add a little bit of finesse. So what I'm going to do, holding down the metal on one side, is I'm going to tap, tap, tap until I see the metal start to flatten out just a bit, okay? Now I'm going to take my metal, I'm going to flip it over upside down. Oh no. I still think this side. And I'm going to press my sheet down onto it, almost like a sandwich. You want to make sure you can flip it right over. This piece is giving me a hard time because remember those burrs that I said was there? Those are getting in the way. The files are in these red cases right here. There should be one that's perfectly round, like this. Just twist it back and forth just a little bit. You don't want it to get too far open. If that happens, then the rivet won't fit. Let's see if this works. Try to slide it down. And it fit. All right, did you hear that snap? Now the rivet's sticking up a little bit more on that side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap, tap, tap on this side, flip it over again, tap, tap, tap on that side. Make sure that when I'm hammering, my metal doesn't get shifted out of place. And then I'm going to tap, tap, tap until this metal lays flat, or as flat as I can get it on both sides. This side still has a little bit more to go. Okay? Now, what that's going to do is it's going to create a really strong connection. I can't barely even move this metal, and it didn't take any heat. All it took was a little tiny tube. Now, you're allowed to use as many rivets as you want. Like, for example, if you wanted to take another piece of metal and add it as another design component, maybe somewhere else on your piece, like that or something, you could do another rivet down there. But you only need one. If your rivet is lower, you do need to drill another hole because you need somewhere for this to go. This is called an ear wire, right? It's for an earring. It's already been made for you, even though there is a way that you can make it yourself. The way that you add it to your earring, when you are finished, right? You're almost done, you just need to put it in. You take one of these. It's in the box that looks like this. And you'll notice there's a little loop at the end, right there, a little jump ring. You're going to take a pair of either chain nose, bent nose, or round nose you're going to open up this circle. You see that? Okay. And you're going to put it so that this back tail faces the back. So when you put in earrings, you put them in this way. You're going to slide your earring into the loop. Hopefully you have enough space. Okay, like that. And then you're going to take those same pliers and you're going to close it up so that your earring doesn't fall out. There's nothing worse than walking around during the day and thinking that you have your favorite earrings on and then one of them actually fell off. You lost it forever. Okay? There you have it. 2 earrings. Good luck.